So we're trying to find the domain of the function f of x equals 2x squared plus 6x minus 20 over 4x cubed minus 5x squared minus 6x. And after we find the domain of the function, we're supposed to simplify. So first I'm going to factor everything, because it's kind of tough to know what you're doing until you've factored. So next, I look at greatest common factor in the top and pull that out, and then greatest common factor in the bottom and pull that out, and I'm left with 2 times x squared plus 3x minus 10 over x times 4x squared minus 5x minus 6. Continuing on, I realize that those are trinomials. They're going to probably factor into product of binomials. I want to decide which one of those two look easier to factor. Choosing the top, because it doesn't have a leading coefficient, I realize I just have to figure out factors of negative 10 that add up to 3. And I go, okay, positive 5, negative 2, which produce the factors x minus 2 times x plus 5. And as I check that, I see x squared plus 5x minus 2x is 3x, negative 2 times 5 is 10, so that worked out. Now I ask myself, are either of those two factors possibly in the bottom? And seeing that x minus 2 is possible, then I said, well, what would the other factor be? What times x gets 4x squared, and what times negative 2 gets negative 6? When I do that, I go, oh, maybe 4x plus 3 is the other factor. So I check that. X times 4x is 4x squared, x times 3 is 3x, negative 2 times 4x is negative 8x, and 3x minus 8x is negative 5x. So perfect, it's working out. I've got it factored. So that gets me the domain. All x values will work in this function except any that make that denominator equal to 0. So I look at, well, okay, how do I solve one of these equations that are written in this factored form, factors equal to 0? And that pretty much sums it up. You set each of those factors equal to 0 individually and figure out what x makes x equal 0. Well, that's done. What x makes 4x plus 3 equal to 0? That's x equals negative 3/4, and what x makes x equals 2 equal to 0. So now that I have those three x values, the domain is just x's that are not one of those three. So I'm done with domain. I've got that x can't be 0 or negative 3/4 or 2. So now I'm working on simplifying. And so what do I look for when I'm simplifying? That's right, schwack. So I've gotten those two common factors eliminated, one from the top, one from the bottom, and my final simplified version is 2 times x plus 5 over x times 4x plus 3.